calling for rain today. That's not going to slow us down. We got a beaver to go see. Hopefully. This is basically our third try. Kind of like Christmas morning, although our expectations are that Christmas happens today, so I don't know if it's as exciting, but it'll be disappointing if we don't. So yeah, and we got big plans if we do get a beaver. Actually go camp by the water and maybe do some fishing and relaxing. How about that?
Relaxing sounds fun.
Yeah, a rain day doesn't sound so bad. As long as we've got some food to enjoy it with.
Yeah.
We still got that groundhog we have for breakfast. So when we decide we're gonna eat, we'll do that. And I'm feeling a little bit of a sugar low right now. I think you are too.
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah.
But
we'll get some berries somewhere.
I don't feel super hungry. I just feel that uneasiness of maybe dipping into ketosis a little bit, or just a sugar low generally. First trap and we're good. We've got ourselves a big beaver. Have a look at that. We're gonna be eating tonight. Gotta check the other one.
So we're just waiting for Adam from Adam Craig Outdoors to untrap these beavers. What we noticed is here where the dam was taken apart a little bit to let the water out, which is what attracts the beaver over to repair it. These beavers pretty much fully repaired this spot before getting trapped. So that's interesting. They must have come around the other side of the trap or from the bottom, laid all these sticks in place here, thrown up some more mud and some weeds, and then got caught.
We'll do by the back legs?
Yeah.
Top?
Sure.
Leech.
That's a big leech, eh? You can show that, I guess. It's an interesting one.
That was pooping.
Yeah, you can really smell the castor clear.
Right?
Yep. Oh, that's not bad. That's perfect.
A little wiggly.
Yeah.
Ready? Can I roll your way?
Yep. Okay.
What are you doing, Jay?
Making a paddle.
You bushcrafting now?
Yeah.
What are you bushcrafting for?
Hey?
Just for fun?
Oh yeah.
Just make some extra work on an empty stomach?
Yeah, I'm tired of using conventional paddles, so I just wanted to try a stick paddle for once.
Yeah. How about you face up the music? Paddles are at home, right?
Yeah, with the net. Forgot them.
The storm's brewing too.
Yeah, good one, I think.
Alright, well, let's see what you come up with. Something to get us out there anyway.
Yeah.
We're caught in the thunderstorm.
Yeah, it's close too.
It is close. Got a pretty nice view of the lake from here. We could set up and smoke our beaver. All that fun extra work because it's raining.
Yeah. No, a blueberry. Half right. Fourth.
Blueberry. Yeah, it's nice and congealed. Look at all that fat in there.
Wow.
Look at all that fat in there.
And gelatin.
That's what happens when you cook the skins, ladies and gentlemen. You get all that good fat. So while we're processing all that beaver down, we're gonna do some set lines for rainbow. There's some big rainbow in here, 5 pounds and over. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a worm and we're just gonna bunch that on the hook. Just like that, a big gob. And above that is a float. So I think it's a little salmon egg. But that'll keep it up off the bottom because it's going to want to float up like that. And I'm going to put a sinker over on here so that sits on the bottom about 15-20 feet off the bottom, and it'll hang up here. And then these rainbow, this lake's really clear, so they're kind of swimming by and looking for stuff up on the surface. And if they see a worm just kind of dangling around in the, floating in the air, they're likely to grab it. So paddle way out as much line as they have, drop it down in the middle of the lake, and then they'll paddle back and we'll just leave the line on shore. And all we're doing is watching for a strike. Usually the rainbow will come up and thrash around at the surface, and then you'll come check your line and you'll have one on. So the next step is to paddle out, drop this down, paddle back. It's like kind of like paddling with a log. That's the whole spool.
Oh yeah.
I don't feel anything. Now there's a fish there. It's being sleepy. There it goes. It's waking up now.
So that was literally like 1 minute.
I just dropped it.
Look at the colors on that.
There we go. Look at that. How about that? Hey? That works. It swallowed it though. So we're gonna have to dispatch that. This little nice little rainbow.
Beauty.
What do you think of that? I literally just dropped and paddled back. Oh, shoot. Hey. Awesome. There you go, guys. That's how it's done. A lot of people get on me about dispatching fish. So I did the ikejime in the brain, and I severed the bottom there, and I hit it over the head. That technique works, so we got some more food on the table. Now we got to get processing that beaver, and we have lunch, gopher, a groundhog, so we're gonna eat that next. I'm hungry, and it's about 2 o'clock and we haven't eaten yet. And I thought I would just set this line and have to wait, but instant hit. There you go. Doesn't always work out that way. So Jeremy taking a leak over here. Better grab the beaver. Oh, that's a big beaver. Oh.
Maybe it's Winona's.
Hey?
Maybe it's Winona's.
Oh. Winona beaver. It ain't Justin Bieber. There you go.
Me first?
You first. Let's eat. Not beaver. Why did it have to rain for?
I don't know.
You want to pull the beaver over here? It's getting wet.
Sure. You want a dry beaver? Or you like it wet? You like a dry beaver?
That was leftover groundhog taste.
Oh, it's so good.
Is it good still?
Yeah.
I mean, the broth was fantastic.
That's what I'm eating, and it's fantastic. I'm loving it.
Show me what it looks like.
Looks like a really good soup broth.
Nice. Picked clean, just like a real carnivore.
Yeah. Set it aside.
Sure. Was there brain left? Oh, we sucked the brain out.
I think you already sucked the brains out of that one, zombie.
We did. Stomach's still in there. It's all good. Cheers, YouTube. That's fantastic. That's restaurant food.
It is. Yeah. No, it is fantastic.
Gopher is fantastic. What do we put in there?
Groundhog.
Groundhog, seasoning salt, or seasoned salt. What do you call it?
Seasoned.
Seasoned salt. And roasted garlic and peppers. I'm not gonna name the brand. You guys can find it if you want.
Yeah, we're hoping they sponsor us.
Maybe they'll sponsor us. Like if they can make groundhog taste good, they can make anything taste good.
But maybe
That's so rich and fantastic.
not eating for 16 hours maybe makes it taste good.
No, that's just good.
No, it is.
That's plain good. Like you can't argue that that's bad.
Well, and you had it on camera, like how gelled it was when it was cool.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
you shook it. There was so much fat on top.
Rich broth.
There's like a 1/4 inch of fat on top of that, and that's just been rendering and rendering and rendering. And it's almost tempting to do that same thing with the beaver, but it's going to be hard to singe a wet beaver. Singe a wet beaver. We've already started.
I thought we just need enough friction.
Rub the beaver?
Um,
Is it rub? If you rub the beaver, does it get wet or dry?
Depends on the beaver. Depends on the rub.
The beaver's marinating over there. Hairy, wet beaver. And if you were hungry, you'd eat a beaver too. So Jeremy.
Yep.
What did the beaver say to the tree?
I don't know.
It's been nice gnawing you. This is so good. I would highly recommend this. It's like eating boiled butter. It's fantastic.
It's like eating butter boiled in bacon fat.
It's so good. So good. That's the skin. That's where you get the money from. And put that in your mouth and swish it around and it just melts. It's a little weird, but it's worth it. So good. Excuse me. Compliments to the chef. So a lot of people might find that offensive. That's the paw. And how many of you have eaten chicken feet? So there's kind of a hierarchy of animals where we think it's okay to eat a chicken or a cow or a pig. But for some reason these animals that live in the wild, it shouldn't be eaten. Well, who are you to say that you can't eat a groundhog or a beaver or a skunk or a raccoon or a deer or a bear? Where do you draw the line and how do you draw that line? So think about that. And then you decide why you think it's not okay to eat certain animals. Is it because of the way they look? Or are you just making up random rules? And then maybe you don't eat meat. And my hat's off to you. Much respect. I'm not going to tell you to eat meat. And I don't think you should tell me to stop eating meat. Because no matter what, something's dying so that you live. And in this case, it happened to be a groundhog. For somebody else, it might be a plant. But think about the effects of mass-producing cropland and all the devastation it creates for the diversity of animals that live in that area. I can't live there anymore because you've replaced it with a cornfield or a soybean field, and that feeds your domestic animals, or you're eating corn, soybean, or wheat. So no matter what, you're making an effect on the planet. So don't be ignorant about that. Connect with nature, and you'll have much better respect for it. That's all I have to say about that. So we're having a conversation about the stomach, and we're deciding what to do with it and the contents. So if we're gonna keep it in that stew or not, but you see that's what the groundhog ate. It's a green mash. So we're gonna add a little bit to the pot. A little bit more to the pot. It smells a little bit like acid reflux. Like that stomach acid smell.
Yeah.
But it makes a good fish, or flavoring, I should say, not fish flavoring, but a flavoring. But this pot, the leftovers here, we're going to use as a fish broth. So what we have left is a bunch of liquid there, and we're going to put the trout in there, and we're going to make the trout taste like my most favorite meal so far.
Yeah.
So it's all boned out. We've got the little skull here. Keep that as a souvenir. And the bottom jaw. So, on to the next step. The work doesn't stop.
There's 5 loons cruising by in front, and there's one way out the middle of the lake, and it's just splashing and splashing, and then it's up splashing in the air, and then splashing underwater. Maybe having a loon bath.
Maybe we should put this in the soup.
Yeah, just put it all in. We're going to add a little bit more water anyway, right?
This is good.
Is it?
It's not bad.
No, it's a bit much just on its own though, right? Like,
No, it's not. It's kind of diluted now.
oh. Yeah, just put it all in the
There's a hair in there. How did a hair get in there?
hair or a fiber.
A black hair.
Probably from it licking itself.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Like a cat. It's like
I
a
did
cat's
put it back
hairball.
in the soup.
Yeah.
Hairball.
Good.
The stomach is also edible on this, but I don't want to eat the poop. Squeeze that out. Stomach contents are probably fine. You just don't want the end part of the digestive system. And it's probably got a small gallbladder. There's a little organ attached. This one's, I think I see it attached here. That little ball there. No, you might not be able to see it, but it's a little tiny ball. We're going to try to get that out so it doesn't get on the meat. Stomach. And pull that out. We don't want that. So there's a liver, stomach. We'll puncture that, and we could probably eat. It's probably eating insects or minnows. That would be edible too. I think it's empty. So that's pretty much it. Here's a bit more. We'll get all the poop out. Here it comes. There, all done. And we'll throw that in the pot too. because it's all extra nutrients and vitamins that you can't get from eating just straight up protein. You got to mix all those in there with you. So that'll go into the stew pot here. And this we're gonna cut the backbone off. The dorsal fin. We don't want that.
Heart.
So for parts we're keeping, and of all that is the liver, the heart, and the lung.
No,
What's that?
not this time.
What is it? Lung?
Yep.
Yeah, it's too spongy. Don't do that. This beaver tail is pure fat.
Is it?
Talk to the camera, Jer.
Oh, okay.
Pure fat. So what we're going to do is going to stuff this up in the cavity, and we're going to hang it, and we're going to let all that fat leak out. You can see the fat there, but the rest of the tail here is all fat. So that's going to help flavor our meal. And then we have the liver and the heart. So this is a Native American style of cooking the beaver. The first time I've ever done it. So what we're gonna do is stuff the cavity here with everything. We got the head here. The head, as we know, is full of fat. So that'll go in the cavity. And we wanna make sure it doesn't fall out. So we put the head in there. And we're gonna put the tail in there too. Now I did ask a question whether you're supposed to get the skin of the tail off before you do this, and I didn't get an answer. So I'm going to keep the skin on because I know if I put it on the fire that it's going to burn because it's almost pure fat. So we're going to stuff it in with the skin on, and we'll deal with the skin off later. Now once that's all inside, we're going to sew this up. Hang it from the front or back legs. Jeremy's got an idea for that. And we're going to hang it next to the fire, not on the fire, because we're going to slow cook it as best we can. And I would expect it's probably going to take several hours to do. So all that's left for me to do is sew this cavity up. And actually we should probably grab that second tail and throw it in there too. Part that I...
Trout in there.
Throw a trout?
Yeah, a triever.
A
Trout and a beaver.
A triever. We had a whole bunch of ideas. What was it? Trout and a beaver, and we almost had a grouse, so that would have been a griever. And then what was the other one? The hare. The hare was the best one. So maybe you could figure it out. Hare? Yeah, we'll tell you. You tell them? I thought them figure it out. Well, then it would be the hairy beaver, which would be classic. But it didn't happen. So next time we do a beaver, we're gonna stuff a hare inside. You know, like they do, like a turduck. Where you stick the, is it turduck?
Turducken.
Turducken. When you stick the duck in.
Chicken.
The duck. Yeah, turducken. You can get really crazy with these concepts. But anyway, the hairy beaver is like you know, tier 10 survival if you can manage to do that. Just stuff it all in there. Nice big cavity. Slow roast over the fire for 12 hours. We're all set to go. How about that? I'm going to stitch this up now, and then we'll get on with the next step. If there are any natives out there watching this, you just tell us what we're doing wrong. No doubt we are doing something wrong.
I need the stick to go through right there. It's hooked around the pelvis.
Yeah,
so
nice.
I think it'll hold.
Yeah.
And then what's the next step? Next step is to build up a decent fire and have that slow cook for hours and hours and hours. And since this is the first time we've ever done it, we don't know how this is going to turn out.
I suspect it's going to be awesome.
So the idea here now is that this beaver's in the smoke and the heat here. Just keep the fire going. It'll rotate pretty much on its own. Ooh, that's hot. And we're gonna slow cook it, hopefully, not too fast, not too slow, because we want to eat it. And yeah, and then the drippings, there's blood coming out now, but eventually that tail's gonna heat up and the skull's gonna heat up and all that fat is gonna collect down here in this tray. So that's one way to prepare it. Jeremy's working on the other beaver right now, and like he said or mentioned, we are going to make a smokehouse with the tarp over here. So that'll just be, we'll just have to cut in little strips of about 1/4 inch thick, nice long strips, make a little drying rack in there, and then have a small fire in there. Not a lot of heat, but a lot of smoke, and that'll preserve the second beaver for more long-term storage. And it'll be a lot more portable than this guy. This guy will keep its moisture, whereas the other one, the moisture should hopefully come out. And it's not the ideal weather for drying or doing anything outside for that matter, but we should be able to get it done. The beaver meat could also be sun-dried, but like I say, it's got to be nice and warm, dry, and full sun, or else you end up with just rotten, spoiled meat. So this beaver is going to take a long time to cook. So what we have right now is the fish in a broth. I threw 2 hearts in there from each of the beaver, and I'm going to throw in a piece of liver from the beaver and a little bit of the blood for some iron and salt. How about that? Here's the soup, and we might add some more flavoring to that too.
Setting up a set of racks here so we can dry a few pounds of that second beaver.
Yeah.
Hopefully it works out.
Cool. Very crafty. Bushcrafty.
Is it? Bushcraft style.
Real bushcraft. We are going to Best Buy to try to buy a video camera to finish the series because it went in the drink. Hi guys, the audio is going to be terrible on this, but I'll do my best. So I'm just going to try to talk loud using the GoPro. We ran into some problems yesterday afternoon, which is why you're missing about yesterday afternoon till dark. I dropped the tripod and the camera in the water for about 2 seconds, and that was enough to fry the camera. My Sony AX 50, can't even think, AX53, $1,300 in the water. So Jeremy's off to Sudbury. He's trying to get himself his camera that he's hopefully going to use. I'm still out my camera. I'm filming all this morning on the GoPro, so hoping I can piece this together afterwards. I have a pot boiling here with a groundhog, and I threw beaver in there, and it's been boiling pretty good, and I think I'm ready to eat it now, so I'll set this down and eat.